I'm going to go back a little bit. When I first met Saito Sensei in New Zealand, I was a second dan under an Aikido UK certification system, because that was pretty much all we had. There was a Japanese teacher in the UK who awarded Aikikai certification, but I wasn't, but that he was doing the Hombu style Aikido, and I'd met Saito Sensei before that, and I'd chosen Iwama Aikido. So I held a second dan in UK certification, but nothing else. Saito Sensei in New Zealand saw me, looked at me, and he said, well, I'm Aikikai, and therefore I'm going to award you first dan Aikikai, and that way you can collect it off the certificate off the English, the Japanese master in England, make a link with them, and then it will keep the system, if you like, the politics side as it should. And so that's why I became my first dan Aikikai. He also, after that, over the years, awarded me second dan and third dan. I remember my third dan, I was called out of the shower because Sensei, somebody was banging on the door. Sensei wanted me, and he wanted me instantly, and when he wants you, even in the shower, you've got to be ready and there. So pouring with sweat, sat there, and Stamp ran in, said Sensei has decided he's going to award you third dan. I was at this stage fourth dan UK certification, and I didn't mind. I was filling up the wall with certificates, paying for British ones, paying for Japanese ones. What does it really matter? You know, to me, I'd got my master, but the people in the UK said, no, you're far too good. So when I got my fourth dan, it was from a different organisation in the UK, because I was asked to take part in a demonstration, and it was an annual event for all the British Aikido organisations, run what they call the British Aikido Board. I done my demonstration, and of course my demonstration was Saito Sensei's Aikido, not the hut where I'd been practicing and still was practicing. This was, I think, in 1992, it might either 91 or 92. I done the demonstration, and this person, who became a very good friend, close friend from that point on, and he said, that was amazing, your demonstration. What organisation are you with? And I said, oh, I'm with the Institute of Aikido. And I was more than happy there, because every time I'd go on a Saito Sensei seminar, the teachers, Mr. Foster, who was the head then, he would say, show us what Mr. Saito, I used to call him Mr. Saito rather than Sensei, show us what Mr. Saito has taught you. So Mr. Foster would be taking a seminar somewhere that I would be on every month. To remember, I would be on a seminar somewhere in the world, but also in the UK, every month without fail for 23 years. And the people would come up to me afterwards in the changing room and say, who do you think you are? Sargeant usually. Who do you think you are demonstrating? We didn't come to pay to see you. And I said, Mr. Foster asked me to do it. I didn't ask to do it. So I started getting bad feelings within my own organisation that I'd been in since an orange belt. And after this demonstration, this person saying, what organisation are you with? And I told him, and he said, no way. He said, no way. He said, you need to be forming your own organisation. So at that turning point, I wrote to Saito Sensei and said I wanted to start my own organisation. I then linked up with some of the people in America and I started our organisation with another person, another senior. We started inviting the American teachers from the Oakland dojo, and one was Pat Hendricks, who became one of the main people who we would have every year to come and teach us. But we had many. And so hence we started traditional Aikido, or traditional Iwama Aikido. We added the Europe later on when we had clubs want to be part of us from Russia and Greece. So just before Saito Sensei's death, I had a call from a fifth Dan. I was a fifth Dan. I got my fifth Dan in Iwama. Saito Sensei said on one of the seminars around the world, "Tony, you've never been to Iwama. If you want your fifth Dan, you've got to come to Iwama to get it." So we made the arrangements, and in 1994 we organised a seminar in Birmingham in the UK for Saito Sensei to come, because he'd already organised one in Italy under Paolo Corellini, and it was a beautiful area that he would be teaching in those times, Osimo, on the seafront, and it was a very nice place to go. So I decided I would go to Iwama for 3 weeks before this. I would come back with Saito Sensei to Italy, where we would have another long seminar, and then on to the UK, where we would have our final seminar together. This was in, as I say, 1994, August through to September. More and more people didn't like me on each seminar because Saito Sensei favoured me. I didn't ask to be favoured. I've never been asked to be favoured. I actually, even though I might seem on the mat and when I'm talking about Aikido, I may seem a really positive person, and really full of energy and perhaps a leader, but I didn't choose to be a teacher when I was a first Q. I didn't choose to be asked to be with Saito Sensei wherever he went. That was his decision. But the people who used to invite him weren't in the car. They weren't next to him. They didn't, stand in the corridor in the middle of the night if Sensei wanted to go to the toilet, because I could, used to sleep. You sleep as if a pin had dropped. Anyhow, for some reason the electricity's gone out, and we'll continue this story soon. Thank you for listening.